So in this video, we're going to talk about how to solve a quadratic using the quadratic formula. In order to solve a quadratic using the quadratic formula, we have to make sure that our equation is set equal to 0. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to subtract 2x squared from both sides. You could put, hypothetically, you could move the negative 4x plus 9 to the other side, but I'm lazy, and so I'm going to choose to move one thing instead of two. All right, now that I have it in have it set equal to 0, I am going to identify my A, my B, and my C. So A is negative 2. It's the leading coefficient. B is negative 4. It's always the one that's attached to the x term. And C is 9. It's always the one that is the constant. So now we need to remember our quadratic formula in order to be able to use it. So there are a couple different methods to remember to solve. I was taught one way back when I learned the quadratic formula that I'm going to teach you now. It is to the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel, and I'm going to sing, so pardon me. But it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I'm going to write that down. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And now, because we have that quadratic formula, all we have to do is plug in the things that we know, the a, the b, and the c, into that formula in order to solve for my x's or my zeros. So I'm going to do that right now. So I have negative b, which is negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b, which is negative 4, squared, minus 4, and then times a, which is negative 2, c, which is positive 9, all over 2 times a, which is negative 2. All right. So now that I've plugged those things in, I simply follow order of operations. So I'm going to simplify what's under the square root first. So, well, I'm also going to do this double negative here. So double negative turns into a positive. So x equals 4 plus or minus the square root of, and then negative 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8 times 9 is positive 72. All over 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4. So now I'm going to add what's under that square root, and I get 4 plus or minus the square root of 88 over negative 4. Now, the square root of 88, I cannot take that. It is not a perfect square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this into my calculator. When I plug it into the calculator, I'm going to make sure I have parentheses around the top part. And the first one I'm going to do is 4 plus the square root of 88 divided by 4. That's how I'm going to write it in my calculator. The other one I'm going to do is 4 minus the square root of 88 divided by negative 4. Okay? So I'm going to plug those into my calculator real quick here. So just like I said, I'm going to plug it in. So parentheses 4 plus the square root of 88 and that parentheses divided by negative 4. So I have negative 3.35. I'm going to do the same thing. So I just did second enter to pull up the same line, and I'm going to change that plus to a minus, and I get 1.35. Okay? So my two solutions then, using the quadratic formula, are negative 3.35, comma 1.35. The quadratic formula is amazing because you can use it every time you have a quadratic. So hopefully using the quadratic formula, you understand that better now, and you can complete one on your own.